Welcome to The Debate. Today, we're looking into the really profound and rapid transformation happening in the U.S. trucking industry. It's all driven by the widespread implementation of artificial intelligence. Our analysis confirms this shift is creating huge benefits, fundamentally restructuring how goods move across the country.
Right, and that brings us to the core question we're wrestling with today. Does the primary value, the real transformative impact of AI in trucking, lie in maximizing those hard objective metrics like, operational efficiency and cost reduction? Or is its essential role actually rooted in providing personalized assistance and genuinely enhancing the quality of life, the sustainability, for the human driver?
Exactly. And I'll be arguing that AI's transformation is fundamentally structural. It's driven by achieving quantifiable economic goals, the kind that really reshape market competition and the whole logistics infrastructure.
And I come at it from a slightly different angle. While obviously acknowledging the sheer size of the financial savings, you can't ignore that. I maintain that AI's most significant, its most lasting value, is its function as a supportive digital co-pilot. I think its main contribution is mitigating that pervasive, exhausting stress that's just inherent in the job and dramatically improving the day-to-day working environment. This ensures the industry can finally move beyond, a risky reliance on sheer human experience and caffeine, as the material puts it. The true revolution, the necessary one, is stabilizing the human element that logistics has traditionally, frankly, treated as secondary to the freight itself.
Okay, so my position really rests on the overwhelming economic imperative that's fueling this massive technological adoption. I mean, the fundamental change we're witnessing is the essential shift away from what was often, let's be honest, pure guesswork in scheduling and routing towards data-driven certainty and high-fidelity predictive power. The metric that truly drives structural change is the quantifiable economic outcome. We see industry projections pointing towards savings of up to, 30% on overall operational costs. That's huge. AI's comprehensive capacity to calculate dynamic variables, things like weather changes, real-time traffic flux, complex cargo weight distribution, even localized road restrictions. It does more than just offer a suggestion. It fundamentally optimizes the entire logistics chain end to end. And this optimization, it translates directly into crucial business advantages. Demonstrably fewer empty miles, and an undeniable rapid growth in delivery accuracy. Plus, you have the automation of those formerly manual, high-volume administrative tasks, specifically automating all those boring documents, and accurately predicting systemic delays. This effectively cuts out layers of inefficiency that historically just shackled the financial and administrative side of the trucking business. These infrastructural improvements, those are the primary objective indicators of lasting transformation.
That's an interesting point, and the 30% is certainly eye-catching. Though I would frame the sustainability of that 30% differently. While yes, maximizing financial gains is a prerequisite for any business, the true transformative shift, I believe, is in the change to the driver experience. Why? Because that change directly addresses the industry's most critical systemic weakness: labor retention. AI acts as this indispensable co-pilot by providing personalized support, which, is a far more sustainable basis for efficiency than simple raw cost-cutting, which often just exacerbates labor pressures. The material specifically highlights crucial, human-centric benefits like less dispatcher stress and the promise of more rest and better sleep. Now, these aren't just nice-to-haves, they're stabilizers. They represent a crucial reduction in driver cognitive load and fatigue, absolutely necessary to retain talent in an industry plagued by high turnover. So when AI performs these complex calculations like route optimization or load planning, the benefit isn't just a faster route on paper, it's the removal of that mental burden. This is exemplified by things like the detailed, customized, personalized driver tips. It's this human stabilization that ultimately secures the long-term ROI on that initial 30% saving you mentioned.
I see why you're tying driver stability back to the economics, but let's be really precise about causation here. The projected 30% savings, that's the reason capital is pouring into this technology. It's not just a happy byproduct of driver wellness. This level of financial gain isn't merely about margin improvement. It actually allows for radical changes in competitive pricing models and capital expenditure planning across the entire freight ecosystem. If AI didn't promise to fundamentally re-engineer pricing and operational scale, well, the industry wouldn't be investing billions just to offer personalized driver tips. Those tips, while sure they're beneficial, they are secondary features. They're nested within a primary system designed from the ground up to maximize quantifiable output. Fewer late deliveries, fewer maintenance issues, fewer empty runs. When AI manages the flow of goods with greater reliability than human scheduling ever could, the consequence is a much higher level of delivery accuracy. And that fundamentally redefines just-in-time logistics capabilities for major clients. That structurally is the transformation.
I'm still not quite convinced by that line of reasoning because, well, it seems to ignore the mechanism by which human frailty previously undermined those very structural goals you're talking about. Focusing solely on the immediate 30% savings misses the long-term compounding inefficiencies caused by human burnout. The transformation isn't just about saving money right now, it's about protecting those savings through risk mitigation. Think about the massive costs associated with liability, insurance, regulatory compliance failures, all of which are disproportionately affected by driver fatigue and simple error. If AI genuinely leads to less dispatcher stress and prevents drivers from, falling asleep thinking about spreadsheets, the resulting reduction in human error and accident rates provides a far higher level defensive kind of efficiency. The old model depended on volatile human experience, which introduced massive, unpredictable risk into the system. By stabilizing the human element, by reducing that mental fatigue, by giving them back their cognitive bandwidth, essentially, AI fundamentally stabilizes the risk profile of the business. And that's a structural transformation that a simple cost reduction metric doesn't fully capture.
Okay, let's delve deeper into that technical mechanism then. My focus on efficiency highlights how AI shifts management beyond just information processing towards a predictive logistical management. Now, I fully acknowledge the driver assistance aspect, but the critical transformation, from my perspective, is AI's ability to automate high-stakes decisions and predict systemic failures before they require human intervention. Take, for example, complex load planning, making sure weight is distributed optimally and legally for varied routes. This moves far beyond human capacity when you factor in dynamic road restrictions or unexpected weather closures in real time. AI doesn't just suggest, it predicts and manages the flow. And the automation of that manual documentation process, it doesn't just save time for the driver, it fundamentally changes the role of the logistics manager and the dispatcher. It frees them up to handle the exceptions, the real problems, rather than routine tasks. This wholesale outsourcing of administrative burden to AI creates an operational model where system reliability, not constant human supervision, becomes the central guarantee of accuracy.
What that technical aspect? Well, I think it still supports the primacy of the driver experience. I want to highlight the role of AI in moving logistics beyond that pure guesswork phase, not by replacing the driver, but by empowering them in real time. When AI calculates all that comprehensive, real-time data traffic, weather, road restrictions, its most immediate and impactful function is providing clarity and preemptive warnings directly to the person behind the wheel. It allows them to actively dodge poor, high-risk conditions, like, say, sudden snow squalls or unexpected roadwork closures. And this ability to navigate complexity isn't merely about speed. It's fundamentally about safety and regulatory compliance. Think about the sheer volume of constantly changing regulations, permitting requirements, hours of service rules. It previously imposed an unsustainable mental workload. AI absorbs that complexity.
It transforms the driver from essentially a manual data processor into a higher-level manager making informed, non-fatigued decisions. That's an enhancement of professional function. It elevates the driver's expertise rather than simply automating them out of the picture.
I see the merit in the cognitive load argument, I do. But let's return to defining the tool itself. I view AI primarily as a precision-engineered tool designed explicitly to meet the industry's most pressing business needs, moving goods faster, cheaper, and with demonstrably higher accuracy. It's fundamentally a solution to market friction. Consider the integration of predictive maintenance capabilities into these AI systems. By analyzing engine performance, driver habits, route conditions, AI can accurately forecast component failures. This drastically reduces costly, unscheduled downtime. That efficiency gain, the avoidance of a breakdown mid-route, is a pure structural benefit that directly lowers operational costs and contributes significantly to that 30% figure we keep mentioning. Driver wellness might be a positive externality, sure, but the reduction in maintenance capital tied up in contingency planning, that's the core economic transformation.
That's a compelling point regarding predictive maintenance. It certainly contributes to overall efficiency, no doubt. But it still frames the driver primarily as an input, right? Just another variable in the larger equation of cost saving. Have you considered the material's own analogy? It deliberately positions AI not as a cold business tool, but as the digital navigator. It explicitly states that AI isn't just some sci-fi robot, it's your real co-pilot. Now that framing, I think, is crucial. It defines the technology itself as a companion, designed specifically to alleviate human vulnerability. The human-centric transformation, the ability for drivers to actually achieve better sleep, less stress. That's what distinguishes this technology from previous logistics tools. When we talk about transformation, we have to ask if the technology allows the system to continue functioning indefinitely.
A system that just burns through its human capital, regardless of short-term cost savings, is fundamentally unsustainable. AI's greatest contribution, perhaps, is solving the labor crisis by making the job viable again, ensuring that technology serves the person behind the wheel. And that, I argue, is a necessary long-term structural change in itself. But the long-term viability of the job depends on the industry maintaining its competitiveness. If the industry doesn't adopt AI to achieve these massive operational efficiencies, that 30% reduction, the fewer empty miles, it will be undercut by competitors who do. This technology isn't being implemented as some kind of social program. It's being implemented as a competitive necessity. The structural ability to reduce fuel consumption through dynamic routing, to increase capacity utilization, that's what unlocks the capital needed for broader improvements, including potentially higher wages or better benefits for drivers down the line. The economic transformation precedes and frankly enables the human-centric benefits you're highlighting. The foundational change is the shift toward radical, objective efficiency measurements governing every single aspect of the load, the route, and the delivery schedule.
The economic argument is strong, I grant you that. Yet, I still caution against viewing human experience as merely a secondary benefit, an afterthought. The core of my position remains that the personalized assistance is the highest form of long-term efficiency. By drastically reducing that mental burden associated with compliance, route planning, all the administrative work, AI is creating a more reliable, safer, and ultimately more efficient operator. The reduction in fatigue translates directly into fewer accidents and higher job satisfaction, which in turn dramatically lowers turnover costs, a staggering structural burden that was often just ignored previously. When a driver is well-rested and focused, the resulting decrease in latent risk, I believe, far surpasses the initial operational savings when you look at it over a multi-year horizon. The transformation is moving the industry from a system defined by human endurance, often pushed to its limits, to one defined by human-AI collaboration.
So, to summarize my view, my assessment remains consistent. The massive economic efficiencies, that 30% operational savings, the demonstrable fewer empty miles, and the resulting high delivery accuracy, these are the foundation of AI's transformative power. These metrics are the irrefutable evidence that the system's operational structure has been fundamentally overhauled, ensuring the industry remains competitive and effective on a global scale. Structural cost reduction is the unavoidable primary driver and the catalyst for all the subsequent changes we're seeing.
And I'll reaffirm my position that improved driver well-being, the reduced cognitive load, and the personalized assistance offered by AI are the essential, forward-looking components. By providing the tools for drivers to genuinely have more rest and to focus primarily on the road without the intense burden of constant administrative and navigational stress, AI ensures the sustainability and resilience of the human workforce itself. The future of trucking, I truly believe, depends on a smarter, safer, and ultimately more collaborative partnership between advanced technology and human expertise.
Well, it's clear AI is transforming the industry in profound ways. It impacts both the structural efficiency of these incredibly complex logistics networks and, just as importantly, the crucial personal experience of the drivers who navigate them day in and day out.
Indeed. And this discussion really highlights the inherent challenge in scrutinizing where the focus should ultimately lie. Should it be on maximizing those objective, immediate metrics, or maximizing the long-term effectiveness and, frankly, the quality of life for the people who actually keep America moving? Both of these forces are undeniably reshaping the industry as we speak.
Absolutely. There is clearly much more to explore in how these technological shifts, economic necessity on one hand and human stability on the other, are rolling forward together.